Mr. Lopez.
Thank you, Speaker. Members, was here just a few minutes ago, and I think we had a pretty robust discussion around the layout for this temporary guest work program. I don't want to read the entire layout again for sake of putting some of you to sleep, but I will read a small piece of it. I think that is critical. It says, only jobs that are certified by the Texas Workforce Commission as lacking available Texans will be eligible to come in as a worker. Workers must pass a background check, meet federal visa requirements, and carry biometric IDs. Chairman Bell, you'll appreciate that, including fingerprints. If they overstay, ICE will be notified and appropriate action will be taken. I mean, at the end of the day, what we're looking for is to bring individuals in that are qualified to meet the requirements that we have identified as a state. All of this will be done by Texas Workforce Commission under the auspices of the governor in conjunction with the federal requirements. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I'd be willing to take any questions. Or
Mr. Darby, for what purpose?
Will the gentleman yield?
Does the gentleman yield for questions?
Absolutely.
Gentleman
Thank
yields for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. I think the genesis for this bill probably originated from a conversation you and I had last summer, did it not?
yes, sir, that's correct.
You know, I'm familiar with this program. Growing up in West Texas, we had labor shortages, whether it be shearing sheep or working cattle or working the fields, crops. There would be ranchers and farmers that would go down to Mexico under this Becero program. And if I'm correct, that program was in effect from 1942 until 1964. So this is a program that we've tried before, and it worked. It certainly worked in my area to address the shortages in the labor force. And your bill is designed and it's styled temporary guest worker program. Each one of those words is important. It's temporary, correct?
Correct.
Is this a permanent program or is this a temporary program?
Temporary with lots of restrictions.
The second word is guest. Does this mean it leads to permanent status here in the United States, or are they simply a guest?
They're a guest.
And what does the word worker mean to you?
It's an individual that is coming into function in a industry that has been identified by the Texas Workforce Commission to be able to be of need and of lacking in labor support.
Now, will this program lead to workers bringing their families or claiming benefits here in Texas?
No, sir. Specifically, it does not allow that to happen. These individuals are allowed to come in, do the work as prescribed by their permit, with oversight from the federal government as well as the Texas Workforce Commission. And at the point that permit expires, they will need to report back into their home country. Their home country has also agreed to send them and provide us that level of coordination.
Now, aren't there obligations put upon the employer that they're responsible for these workers that come over, and they're responsible to make sure that they attend for work, and if they're not working, then they report that to the authorities? Is that correct?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, the employers need to apply and qualify for these positions that are going to be made available, and then the recruitment will come. I mean, for those folks that think this is going to be a program where you send an 18-wheeler down to the border, pick up a bunch of people, bring them into the United States and release them to go to work, that is not what this program does. What this program does is establish a process by which we are able to bring in, as we all want, legal, contributing individuals to come and meet our workforce here in Texas, putting our economy, making our economy even stronger.
And finally, doesn't Canada have this exact same program?
Yes, my understanding is true.
I mean, Canada has utilized this program to provide temporary shortages in labor for their various businesses there in Canada, and it's been widely successful, has it not?
It has been very successful. Yes.
I think it's a good bill. I think people should get over the kind of a natural inclination not to examine the merits of the program itself. This has safeguards in it. It is a temporary. It has to do with guests, and it has to do with working. And
Well,
I think
appreciate your comments,
that's what this state's about. Thank you for the bill.
Thank you. Move passage.
Mr. Romero in support. He's in favor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about this bill, hopefully slow it down a little bit and not necessarily convince you, but I just had a really great conversation with Representative Vasut a minute ago, and very often I know we don't read the bill because we think that our decisions are already made up. And I think that Representative Lopez did a really good job here of addressing a very serious question that we have here and an issue that we have here in Texas, and that's workforce shortages in some critical jobs that affect all of us. Representative Gomez talked about the shrimping industry. Well, many of y'all know I'm in the construction industry. I build swimming pools, and I help build homes. So I'm going to tell you a little short story about someone that neither one of us know. It's a family, a young family. Maybe they were high school sweethearts. And they went off and they did everything right. They married, they went to college. They came home, they decided to live in Colleyville, Texas, in Giovanni Capriglione's district, one beautiful area. And they paid $500,000 for their home. And then somebody came 4 years later and built the house right next door, except for that house now cost $800,000. And because of that, that young family is struggling to pay their taxes and continue to live in that neighborhood, and they're having to look at moving away. And the only reason why they're having to think about moving away is because somehow we don't know how to control the cost of construction that we have impact on right now, right here. And that's all this bill does. It says we have industries that have gone to the Texas Workforce Commission and said, I need help. I don't have stonemasons. I don't have brick masons. So therefore that house sits framed, unwrapped, no brick. And every one of us know that that cost of building that house went up just because of the debt service, just because it took longer to build that house. I'll give you another example. That big storm that came through Houston and hit the petrochemical area where so many of y'all represent. A representative from Dow Chemical told me, our workers that repair this place, they weren't coming to work. Why weren't they coming to work? Because they were trying to protect their families to fix their own homes, so therefore they couldn't fix that facility. And they said, we'll pay to fix your house, but please come to work because we need to get this facility up and running, because we lose millions upon millions, and they didn't care about the cost. But you know what they said? They couldn't get people to fix those houses. So when we talk about that we don't want people to come here the wrong way, that we want them to have the right way, this is how you can do the right thing, by offering the right way for them to get here. And I'll go back to the bill. The United States is going to give them a visa issued by the federal government. And the governor shall seek that federal agency. So we talk about trusting the governor. This bill has your guarantee that you trust the governor to do it right. Those folks are going to pass the criminal background check. Be guest workers that possess the requisite level of education or skill is required for the job. I trust the governor too to do the right thing on this kind of situation. Members, this should not be a political decision about undocumented or illegal people. This is absolutely how you make a decision to help keep costs low for your constituents. Thank you, members. I hope you vote yes.
The chair recognizes Mr. Olcott in opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I have to admit, I'm in shock. While we have really good immigration bills stalled in committees, like a really good E-Verify bill, 287G, which is going to require local law enforcement to work with the Trump administration to help them with deportations. The first bill that comes to our House addressing this is a bill to bring in even more immigration. As I said, more than 5 million foreign nationals have come into this country over the last few years. And if you're, the other side of the aisle likes to talk about wages. It's a supply and demand thing. You bring in more people, it's going to suppress wages. If there is a shortage in any of these fields, it probably means they're not getting paid enough money. And I cannot believe that we're here talking about passing legislation that, according to the Republican Party of Texas platform, it calls for the reduction and or elimination of guest worker program, not the expansion. And I'll be voting no. Thank you.
Mr. Lopez of Bear to close on the bill.
Thank you, Chairman. As well as I want to thank the State Affairs Committee for listening to my bill on one day and the next day having a reading on it and getting it out, recognizing the importance of it. Chairman Darby JA'd the bill, and I'm real honored to have him on that team. I've got a few others that are willing to support this bill, and I move passage.
The question occurs on passage to engrossment of House Bill 2858. This is a record vote. The clerk will ring the bell. Show Ms. Villalobos voting aye. Show Ms. Plessa voting aye. Show Mr. Lujan voting aye. Show Mr. Anchia voting aye. Mr. Lopez of Bear voting aye. Mr. Romero voting aye. Mr. Guillen voting aye. Have all voted? There being 70 ayes, 73 nays, House Bill 2858. Verification has been requested. Members, please take your seats. Mr. Guerin for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. In the members' lounge tonight for purchase, we have blackened catfish, crawfish and shrimp etouffee, roasted red potatoes, and Dijon honey coleslaw and hush puppies. Thank you.
Members, please take your seats.
The clerk will proceed to call the names of those members voting nay.
Alders, Ashby, Berry, Bell of Montgomery, Bell of Montgomery, Bell of Kaufman, Bonin, Buckley, Bumgarner, Button, Kane, Capriglione, Craddock, Cunningham, Cunningham,
Is Mr. Cunningham on the floor?
Curry, Dean, Deala, DeRazio, Dyson, Fairley, Frank, Gates, Gertis, Harless, Harris Davila, Harrison, Hayes, Hefner, Hicklin, Holt, Hopper, Hull, Hunter, Isaac, Kerwin, Kitzman, LaHood, Landgraf, Leach.
Is Mr. Leach on the floor of the House? Temporarily strike his name.
Leo Wilson, Little, Louderback, Lowe, Lozano, Luther, McLaughlin, McQueenie, Metcalf, Meyer, Money, Morgan, Olcott, Oliverson, Orr, Patterson, Paul, Phelan, Pearson, Richardson, Schatzline, Schoolcraft, Shaheen, Schaffner, Slauson, Spiller, Swanson, Tepper, Tinderholt, Toth, Troxclair, Van Dever, Vasut, Wharton, Wilson.
The clerk will now proceed to call the names of those members voting aye.
Allen, Onshia, Bernal, Bojani, Bowers, Bryant, Busey, Campos,
Is Ms. Campos on the floor of the House? Temporarily strike her name.
Canales, Cole, Collier, Cook, Cortez,
Is Mr. Cortez on the floor of the House? Temporarily strike his name.
Darby, A. Davis of Dallas, Y. Davis of Dallas, Dutton, Gomez, Josie Garcia of Bear, Garcia of Dallas, Garcia Hernandez, Guerin, Gonzalez of Dallas, Gonzalez of El Paso, Goodwin, Guerra, Guillen, Hernandez, Hinojosa,
Is Ms. Hinojosa on the floor of the House? Temporarily strike her name.
Howard, Johnson, Jones of Dallas, Jones of Harris, King, Lilani, Lambert, Longoria, Lopez of Cameron, Lopez of Bear, Lujan, Manuel, Martinez, Martinez Fisher, Meza, Moody, Morales of Harris, Morales of Maverick, Morales of Maverick,
Is Mr. Morales on the floor of the House? Temporarily strike his name.
Morales Shaw, Munoz, Noble, Ordaz, Perez of Harris, Perez of El Paso, Plessa, Raymond, Reynolds, Rodriguez Ramos, Romero, Rose, Rosenthal, Smithy, Tallarico, Thompson, Turner, Villalobos, Vo,
Is Mr. Vo on the floor of the House? Temporarily strike his name.
Wally, Ward Johnson, Wu, Zwiener.
Is Mr. Leach on the floor of the House? Show him present, voting nay. Is Ms. Campos on the floor of the House? Show her present, voting aye. Is Mr. Cortez on the floor of the House? Strike his name. Is Ms. Hinojosa on the floor of the House? Strike her name. Is Mr. Morales on the floor of the House? Show him present, voting aye. Is Mr. Vo on the floor of the House? Strike his name. The following have informed the chair their machines malfunctioned. Representatives Cook and Smithy voted nay, but were shown voting aye. Show them voting nay. Show Representative Verdell voting nay. The verification reflects there are 65 ayes and 76 nays. House Bill 2858 fails to pass to engrossment.